Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 262. Andrew Eisen here, and Matthew, hello. Your most anticipated game comes out on December 3rd. I don't know. What comes out on... Is it Halo Infinite? What comes out on December 3rd? It's not Elden Ring. That's not till next year, I think. What's your most anticipated game, Matthew? Inquiring minds want to know. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so sorry. I had to skip last week's podcast. I was busy. Oh, expansion pack for Final Fantasy XIV. It's kind of a trick question. You didn't ask a question, but it counts. Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV certainly come into its own over the last while. Okay, so let's talk about last week's Extra Life charity event. Last week we did the 24-hour marathon to raise money for Rady Children's Hospital. Went 25 hours. Jared says mine is Halo for now. All right. Super Metal Dave was here, and my sister Kelly was here. Also the Trails games, yeah. And we had lots of fun. It was nice to have those two back. Nice to have guests here again after the previous year's solo show. We ended up we met our $2,000 goal, and then some. In fact, we crushed it. Ended up with $2,650 raised for Rady Children's Hospital, which is the Children's Miracle Hospital here in San Diego. For those curious, overall, Extra Life's year-to-date fundraising as of November 7th is $10,088,728.73. Now, keep in mind that's not all game day donations. Extra Life, of course, accepts donations all year round. You can donate at any time. So that's their 2021 year-to-date total. And we committed $26.50 to that total. So, yay us! I drank too much. For those that don't know... Whoops, error. What does this error say? YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Yeah, my output is kind of crap right now. And it's flopping back into it. Green, yellow, red, red, yellow, green. It's just going back and forth. I apologize if you're having buffering issues. Hey, Chicago. And now it's good. Who knows? I'm having iffy connection right now. Seems to be my end. Glad it's happening now rather than last week. So during the marathon, we had a drinking game going on where every $100 we raised, I drank a new drink. And I did. My sister and I after the marathon was done at noon on Sunday. My sister and I were up for another 3 hours. We went to sleep around 3 o'clock. Slept for about 5 hours. I had to get up every single hour to use the restroom. For about 7 hours after the marathon, I could not go a single hour without going to the bathroom. In fact, after the marathon, I think I ended the marathon about 4 pounds heavier than I started. All liquid weight. So, so thank you everyone for supporting, donating. My God, did you guys donate? For hanging out with me. It was a ton of fun. I have archived all of the videos on my Twitch channel. YouTube is being YouTube, and they've put a 12-hour cap on videos. So I have all the footage, and I will be uploading it in chunks. So probably, 2 or 3 hour block of Metroid Prime, and then we switch to Super Mario Maker 2, and I'll do it like that. That takes a little while to edit and render and upload, so should start seeing some of that next week if you want to check out replays. Or I don't expect all of you to watch 25 solid hours of me playing video games. But if you missed a segment like the Ellipsis of Love live read, those will be on my YouTube channel in the coming weeks. All of it's available on my Twitch channel right now. And my PC didn't die this time, so that's very nice. Yeah, YouTube gonna YouTube. It was weird because the video appears to be there, the 23 hour, because we had a little bit of a technical problem where YouTube just stopped at like 23 hours, well, not that much, like 21 hours in, it just ended, so I had to stop and restart. That big 21-hour video, it's unplayable. And I looked in, at some point, they do not allow videos over 12 hours. So if that doesn't change in the next year, what we might do next year is just every 8 hours, just stop and restart the stream. Just to make it easier. Cafe says I went to Retro World last weekend, the expo in Connecticut. Got to meet a few YouTubers and look through dozens of video game related booths. Oh, great. Sounds fun. Let's see what else. That's about it. So, thank you everyone for helping make the Extra Life Marathon a super duper success this year. Next year is, I think, the 10th year for me doing Extra Life. So, I'll have to think of something arbitrarily special to do. Reed was a little yaoi for your taste. Still funny. Glad you enjoyed it. Elden Ring. Bandai Namco, Bamco to its friends, released a 20-minute gameplay video of Elden Ring this week, last week, recently. I didn't bother watching it because I've had absolutely zero interest in Elden Ring. And I couldn't remember why. Like, I couldn't remember anything about Elden Ring, except that I had no interest in it. And I thought, well, it's probably one of those instances where we've seen the trailer that they showed off at E3 had no gameplay in it, didn't tell me anything about the game. So I went back and I looked, and yeah, the game was announced in E3 2019, and there was no gameplay. None. It told you absolutely nothing about the game, other than it's a From Software game, and they're collaborating with George R.R. Martin, guy who does Song Wind and Fire. Wind and Fire? Earth and Fire? Earth, Wind and Fire? Something like that. And I had forgotten all about that. And I can understand, oh, hey, the Dark Souls people are working with that guy, the Game of Thrones dude. That could be cool. No idea what they're doing, because again, the trailer didn't show anything. But I think that's why I had no interest in Elden Ring, because they didn't do anything to capture my interest as far as showing me a game. Granted, that was 2.5 years ago. They actually, Bandai Namco did release a short 2-minute gameplay trailer, 3-minute I think gameplay trailer last June, I think, which actually had some gameplay in it. For whatever reason, I never got around to watching it. But the 20-minute thing, I finally said, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch it, because people seem to really like this game, and I have no idea what the hell it is. So I queued up the the Elden Ring 20-minute gameplay trailer. And very shortly, now keep in mind, I had forgotten everything. I had forgotten From Software, I had forgotten George R.R. Martin. So I start this thing, I'm like, okay, so open world Dark Souls. Alright. Then shortly I was thinking, is this actually From Software? This better be From Software. Someone's getting sued. Because a lot of the mechanics and animations and sound effects are a bit more than inspired by or homage to the Souls series. And so I looked at what the hell channel I was like, and I said, Bandai Namco could be, and I scrolled down to the description to see who the developer is, and yeah, From Software. I'm like, okay, that explains it. So it looks like open world Dark Souls. It has wonderful environmental and creature design, as From Software is wont to have. I don't know about open world Dark Souls, though, because I don't know. Is there a lot to do between points A and B? Because that's kind of where open world games can fall apart, is when they feel empty and where it just feels like a really long walk to get to any of the interesting content. Don't know. It's gonna be one of those you have to play it and see kind of things. But it looks nice. So now I'm not interested in Elden Ring. So yay Elden Ring. And I'm wondering if Elden Ring is an actual, piece of jewelry kind of ring, or something like the One Ring, but I guess we'll see next year. So during the charity marathon, I played Metroid Dread. Part of it anyway. Didn't finish it during the marathon. Although I easily could have, because I have since finished the game, or at least completed one playthrough of the game. I beat the game, not 100%, but I did beat the game, and it only took 10 hours and change. Not a terribly long game. Funny thing, though, is I was playing it during the week, looking for a good place to stop, because I had to work in the morning or something lame like that. And it's one of those games where it's really hard to stop, because you're like, all right, let me just go into this one area and see what's in there, and let me just see what's over here. Oh, there's a missile upgrade. Let me just walk over here and get that. Oh, I can use that to go over here. Let me just walk over to... And you never stop, or me, I never stop playing. It's really hard to find a stopping point for me in Metroid Dread. It just does that carrot on a stick thing for me. It's really difficult for me to find a good stopping point, because there's always just one more thing I want to go look at. Jared says the Elden Ring may be a weapon. Sure, but in... Yeah, anyway, we'll see. Dread, Metroid Dread. So I get in this elevator and I take it up to a new area. I'm like, okay, new area, this is good. Really want to explore, but this is a good place to just stop. So I had to work this morning, and after I was done working, I popped in, or turned Metroid Dread back on, picked up where I left off, and it turned out that's the final boss fight. So I only 15, 20 minutes more or whatever, I could have beat the game that night. Not that I'm in any rush, but yeah, that was the end of the game right there. So I spent most of today going back through, loading up my previous save and scouring the land of ZDR, or whatever the planet's name is, collecting all the collectibles, all the things that are able to collect. And Jared says you might like Elden Ring more because it being open world, you're less likely to have your damn weapon bounce off the walls. Actually, it was not for anyone who hadn't heard me complain about Dark Souls, which I stopped playing, but I do genuinely like. My weapon bouncing off the walls didn't bother me. In fact, I think it's a neat mechanic. What did bother me is enemies are not held to the same restriction. They'll just clip right through the wall. They don't care. Which is a shame. And also annoying in a lot of cases. But, what was I talking about? Dread. Right. So, I didn't quite 100% the game today. I think I have only one more collectible thing to collect, and then beat the boss again, and then see if Samus takes her helmet off at the end of the game. There are about half a dozen collectibles that require some fairly precise and complicated shine sparking to collect. Some of them are pretty clever. Well, they're all clever. Some of them are really fun. Some of them are not, because they're just tedious to do. I think Nintendo should have rethought exactly how the controls go. Let me explain shine sparking. So what that means is if you have enough space, you can run real hard and reach top speed. So you can do a speed boost if you have enough wide flat area to run. Once you're speed boosting, if you press down on the control stick, and you have to press exactly down, which not easy, would be nice if I could just use the plus pad, Nintendo, in a 2D game. That would be nice, Nintendo. That would be really nice, Nintendo. Be a lot easier to get that shine spark thing. Anyway, so you speed boost, then you press down, and Samus glows pink. And from then on, you have a couple of seconds to hold the jump button and then press it while the control stick is neutral. Because if you're pressing the control stick in any direction, you done screwed it up. And then Samus will launch herself in that direction like Ram Man. Either straight up or to the side or down or wherever she's going. She can do it from the floor, in the air. It's cool. It's completely useless in the game, though, except for collecting goodies. And I think it might be useless in the game because it's kind of hard to pull off. First of all, the speed boost thing, you have to left click the analog stick to get that going, which is also the stick that you're pressing to the left or right to run. So you kind of have to push it in at an angle, which is not comfortable. Maybe they should have used the right stick. I don't think the right stick's used for anything. Maybe it is, I just don't remember. I don't know. So, I have one more to do. Here's how it works. You have a very short platform on which to get your speed boost going. So you have to stand on one end without falling off, which is kind of difficult to do that Mega Man toe inch to the edge of to get as close to the edge of the platform as you possibly can. Samus isn't built to... This isn't precision platforming the game. So it's weird that they give you pretty much exactly the amount of room you need to speed boost so you can get into Shine Spark. There's also an automatic closing door in the middle of this runway and a screen transition as you pass through the door. So if you're not paying attention, you might just run into a door. So you have to remember to shoot the door open, click the left stick, run to the left, hit down, straight down on the control stick before you fall off the ledge on the other end, which I swear to goodness sake several times I just ran straight off the end. And then to get the Shine Spark. Then you have to drop down, shoot to open the door, run through the door, drop down into an area, slide under a thing, and then drop, and then hold down and hit the fire button to fire straight down to blast through some blocks, then let go of the control stick, that's very important or this won't work, and once you fall past the blocks, hit the jump button and then press left so you Shine Spark to the left, which there is a slope, and you'll just start running up the slope into a screen transition, and once the screen transitions, then you have to immediately slide to get under an overhang, and then once you get past the overhang, you have to immediately hit down on the control stick to Shine Spark again, and then you have to drop off the edge, let go of the control stick, slam on the jump button, hit right to Shine Spark into another slope, so that you boost up the slope, but then you only have about a 2 Samus width area to hit the down button to shine spark again, drop off the edge, and then shine spark to the right through another wall, and that's where I'm guessing the last missile expansion is. I didn't quite get it. I got all the way to the end where you have to shine spark on that really thin ramp, and I just overshot it twice. And if you screw this up, you gotta go all the way back, shoot the blocks, jump up, slide under the thing, shoot the door open, go into the door, up the thing, shoot the door, go on the other side, wait for the door to close. Okay, shoot the door, and then you can start the whole thing again. It's really annoying. They're not all annoying, though. There was one I really quite liked. There's one where you're looking for enough room to speed boost, and the trick is there's a fan. So you speed boost against the fan, which has you running in place long enough to get your speed boost going so you can shine spark and then run down to wherever you need to shine spark. That's clever. I like that one. That one I felt good about finishing, but some of them are just so long and so precise and so tedious that when you finish them, instead of being joyful and elated, you finish and you're like, yeah, I got it, I feel great, I'm enthused. You finish it and you go, oh my god, finally! That's not the reaction they want you to have. So... Cafe says, I got most of the collectibles except for the few that were super complicated to get. Most of it I like this game a lot better than Fusion. Fusion relied way too much on invisible blocks on the main critical path. That game, oh my god, so many invisible blocks on the main critical path. Navigating Fusion became a chore in a lot of cases just because it was unclear how to get where you were going. Dread doesn't have that problem. So that's nice. But yeah, I have one more collectible to get, and then fight the boss again, and we're done. I'm not gonna try and beat it in under 3 hours or whatever you need to do to have Samus stand around in her underwear, or whatever the ultimate prize is. But I do like 100%ing things. I just have one, I'll get this one eventually. It's just a pain in the ass. And a lot of it is just resetting the whole thing. And sometimes it's like, why did you just give me a tiny little runway? That's just annoying. I like the idea of the obstacle course, but resetting it is a pain in the ass. And a lot of the difficulty comes within the screen transitions, because you can't see what you're doing because it's on the next screen. Just keep everything on the same screen. I feel that's more interesting than... Because it's not so much getting good enough to react, it's just completely memorizing the layout. You just have to memorize how it goes. And you'll get it eventually, but I don't really feel great about doing it. The other thing I might criticize the game about is, for some reason, the map, ENT will feel my pain, and I feel theirs. Great map, but not only does it track, it tracks not just what rooms you've been in, but exactly where in each room you've been. So if you weren't physically in the upper left corner of that room, the upper left corner of that room is kind of grayed out. And I feel compelled, well, especially once I got the screw attack, space jump, whatever it is, to bounce around to fill, just bouncing around these big rooms to fill everything in. There's no point to doing that, but I have the same problem in Xenoblade Chronicles, where I have to go physically walk to every single area on the map just to fill everything in. Because it bothers me that when there's a blank corner of a map. I hate that. Can't stand it. Gotta fill in the map. I don't know why they did it that way. There doesn't seem to be any good reason for it to be done that way. I don't get it, and it's probably the reason it took me 10 hours rather than, 9. And also, I end up navigating by the map in the upper right corner so I can track my fill in the map progress rather than watch where I'm going. Even when I'm going into a new area, I should be admiring all the new stuff I'm seeing, but instead I'm staring at the little mini map in the upper corner as it fills in, and that's not what I should be doing. Fox says there was one challenge where I swear you have to shine spark in midair and diagonally blast through a breakable wall. Yeah, probably. That's the thing about the shine spark is it's not useful for anything other than collectible hunting, which is a missed opportunity, I feel. But the post game, if you want to call it that, it is a joy to just wander around the map and search around and collect things. I've found navigation accommodating and fun, and also compared to Fusion, I really like the boss fights in this game. They are really good. They're just really very well thought out boss fights. Where every single attack has some way to get around it. Nothing feels cheap. Everything is either dodgeable or counterable. I really like the boss fights in this game, and they're fun to do. With the exception of the very, 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 very final boss fight, which isn't a boss fight. You beat the boss, and then boss goes Super Saiyan, but you go Super Saiyan too, so you have the big Humongo Blaster, and you just Humongo blast it in the face, and then it's the 3 minutes until the world explodes, run to your ship sequence. And you did just get through a 3-phase boss fight, but I wanted them to do a little more, especially with that final suit that Samus is in. She's only in it for like 3 minutes, and it's like I wish they would have done a little bit more with this. Oh well. Fusion, I thought half the boss fights were good and the other half sucked. I think that was maybe a function of the Game Boy Advance hardware. They just had these big blocky bosses that didn't move much, and getting around them. Also, the screw attack in that game was a pain in the ass to pull off. The multiple hops in the air. That's always been. It's always had some pretty specific timing, but man, the Fusion space hops were. I failed the most at that. If I fail, oh man, Fusion drove me nuts with those. Yeah, I didn't half the boss fights in Fusion I didn't like, but Dread, really like it. Really, genuinely, really enjoy the game, and I'm kind of sad that it's pretty quickly coming to an end. One more collectible, and then beat the boss again, and that'll be it. All right. So, happy belated Disney Plus Day, everybody. I know this is the thing we all celebrate. Yeah. No matter your background, no matter who you are, or how old you are, where you live, we all celebrate Disney Plus Day. All right, so let's go over the Disney news. There's a new Ice Age movie coming. I don't care. I saw the first Ice Age in the theater with my grandmother. It's fine. I like Scrat the Squirrel. The squirrel's funny. The rest of the movie I could do without. But they're making another one. Fox, talking about Dread, says, there was this one room you walked into and there were these machines poking at an unconscious beast, and then the next time you go back into that room, it's gone. I actually fought. Yeah. There's a big gooey monster that's laying on its back with its rib cage open, and there's a bunch of lasers poking at it. And you're like, oh man, I'm going to be fighting that at some point. I actually never went back through that room and saw it missing. I bet that's a real fun moment. I actually went through there later after I beat that boss. I actually met that boss before I went back through that room, and I went back through the room later and go, oh, this is where he was sitting. Although there might be a cutscene or something where an X infects the corpse and the fingers twitch or something. I don't remember, but yeah. So let's see. Baymax from Big Hero 6 has got his own show. I'm guessing it's a series of shorts, so probably like 6 to 8 minute shorts. Not really sure, but I'm sure it's cute. So there's a cartoon called The Proud Family, which I've never heard of, but there's more of it. I watched the trailer, and it looks fine. It doesn't look like it's for me, but, you know, it's there. Pixar is making a Cars show called Cars on the Road, and I really don't care, because I don't like cars. And to be fair, I've only seen the first one. And it's not bad, I don't care about cars. The Cars franchise, I remember, I think it was John Lasseter, talking about, you know, why cars? It's like, well, I have this nostalgia for cross-country road trips with my family. And if you do, maybe the movie means a lot more to you than it does to me, but I don't have that nostalgia, so just, me, it's just a goofy car movie, and it's fine, but I don't really care. I don't really care, so don't really care for the show. Let's see. Obi-Wan Kenobi is gonna have its own show. Hayden Christensen's gonna be Darth Vader. Yay. There's a Predator movie called Prey that takes place in the 18th century, where someone with a bow and arrow is gonna fight a predator. So that's neat. There is a movie called The Princess, which is described as John Wick meets Sleeping Beauty. Who knows? It's an interesting log line, though. And then the rest of it was Marvel stuff. So we have got, let's see. Secret Invasion is still coming. They showed a picture of Sam Jackson without his eye patch. Where, what was the cat's name in the movie? Is it Goose? I think it's Goose. The Flurkin. His goose-clawed eyeball. There's going to be more Marvel Zombies. I guess they're spinning that out into its own show. Okay. They'd already announced that Catherine Hahn was going to be starring in an Agatha-centric show. You know, Agatha all along. It's called Agatha House of Darkness. Cool. So, some people may ask, well, is Agatha stuck in, I don't know, West Vale, whatever the town? My guess, I mean, whatever the writers want is what happens, but my headcanon is no. For those who saw WandaVision, Wanda basically bewitched Agatha and left her in her 50s sitcom lady neighbor persona in Westview. Whatever the name of the town is. So, is this going to explain how Agatha gets out, or is she going to be stuck there, or blah, 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 blah? No. Agatha, my headcanon says Agatha broke out immediately. Why? Well, because we'd already seen that Agatha was not really... Wanda's mind powers, she tried them on Agatha, didn't work very well. I mean, she got the drop on Agatha and did the whole mind zappy thing from behind, tried to trap her in that witch on a stake burning dream, and she turned it around on her pretty much instantly. So, also, unlike everyone else, Agatha can go into the Hex and not be bothered by... and still keep her mind. So, the only thing that was trapping her was the wards, you know, the anti-magic wards that Wanda had put on the Hex. She couldn't use her magic, so that's what trapped her. Well, the Hex is no longer there. It collapsed. So the wards aren't there. So Agatha can use her magic. So is Agatha trapped? No. She may stay there. If she wants. She may I actually kind of like it here. But no. My headcanon is no. Agatha's not trapped. She was out of there immediately. Anyway, Agatha, House of Harkness. I'm excited. Ironheart, that's the Riri Williams character. So they had a logo. There's an animated I Am Groot special, which we have a logo for. They announced Spider-Man Freshman Year, which animated and appears to be... they say it's a new take on Spidey's origins. Oh god, I hope so, because we've done his origins a bunch of times and don't really need to see it again. It'd be like making a Batman movie and going over his origins. Just unnecessary at this point. Unless you are actually doing something unique with it. In which case, sure, go ahead. Now, from what I understand, they're doing a very, 50s, 60s era newspaper serial kind of art style. So that could be interesting. Spinning off from the Hawkeye show, Echo is going to get her own series. So fun. They confirmed again that What If is getting a new season. Had a very brief look at Miss Marvel. Had a very brief look at Moon Knight. And a very brief look at She-Hulk, which is one of my more anticipated shows, because I love me some She-Hulk. They gave a very quick glance at what She-Hulk's going to look like, and honestly, I couldn't tell if it was a lady painted green or if it was computer generated. So don't know what method they are using. But it looked like She-Hulk. She's green. She's wearing her purple tights. At first I thought her hair was black, but I looked at it again and it's just kind of a dark scene. She has very deep green hair. So, yeah, her hair is still green. Don't know what her face looks like. Bruce Banner's in it, in his Professor Hulk form, so that's expensive. But She-Hulk is not what little we saw of her. We saw her legs and arms and her back. It just started at her calves and then panned up her back. That could easily... It's not so muscular that they couldn't get it. They couldn't easily get an actor to just paint her green. Which is kind of a shame, because I want huge She-Hulk. But that's probably really difficult and expensive to do. But, maybe as she gets more angry or fearful or stressed or whatever, she'll just get bigger and bigger. So, we'll see. We'll see. And then lastly... Oh, no, not lastly. They had a extended the look at Hawkeye, which premieres in a couple of weeks, I think early December. And they are surprisingly really burying the lead and just not promoting this show on the back of Lucky the Pizza Dog. There is a cute doggy in the show. He's in 1/2 second of the trailer and on one of the posters. You think he'd be all over the place, but hey, what do I know? I'm not in marketing. Anyway, they showed a edited but extended sequence of a car chase from Hawkeye, and I was really impressed. It's one of those single take things. It's obviously stitched together from a bunch of different footage, but basically the camera is sitting in the back seat, and we're having a car chase from inside the car, and the camera just keeps looking out all the windows as Hawkeye, spins around corners or whips the car around, and there's a little bit of jank. It looks like a little bit of budget jank. It's just a little slower. It's like you're having to drag that sucker along from a visual presentation. But it's a really interesting way to conceptualize and display a car chase, and it's choreographed really well, really interestingly, and in a clear manner. So I really liked it. So I already looking forward to Hawkeye. Again, I'm a big comic books dork, so I'm looking forward to all this crap. But I was like, okay, you looks like you've got some interesting things to attempt, at least. Who knows how successful they'll be, but I was pretty impressed with that little car chase sequence. If you want to see it, I haven't seen it on YouTube, so only place I've seen it is in the Marvel Disney Day presentation, which is like 14 minutes long on Disney Plus. So if you don't have Disney Plus, well, then you're not going to be watching Hawkeye anyway. And then lastly, they're doing a new X-Men animated series that's going to pick up where the 90s one left off. It's called X-Men 97, and that's when the 90s show ended, so apparently... And they've got a lot... They have a lot of the same voice cast. They didn't say who exactly was voicing who. They're being a little cagey about that, but looks like a lot of returning cast members. So if you pay for Disney Plus, you have some stuff to watch. Simp Squid, hello, says, what are your thoughts on the Kyle Rittenhouse case? Was it self-defense in my opinion or no? No. No, it was not self-defense. Kyle is a horrible person. He went there specifically looking for an excuse to hurt people. And he should go to jail for a long time. That's my opinion. In case anyone cared. But I don't have any say over the outcome of that trial or any subsequent legal action. So my opinion means jack shit. So. And it is 7:45, and I am out of topics. So if anyone has any, like Squad did, if you have any questions about stuff, feel free to post them in the chat. Let's see, tomorrow is, we're going back to Sunday stream tomorrow. I have, we are doing, I have some, there were a few Super Mario Maker 2 levels submitted by donors that I didn't get to during the marathon, so we're going to pick those up tomorrow for the Sunday stream. Don't know how long that'll take. I think I've got like 4 or 5. So we'll spend an hour or two picking up the Super Mario Maker 2 levels we didn't get to during the marathon. And then we will continue on with Trails in the Sky second chapter. Where did we leave? I think we're in the middle of a cave dungeon. Oh, it's the hot springs in Elmo Village, I think, are boiling. I think that's what it is. So we had to go to the nearby hot springs, and there's probably a big monster farting in the in the water supply or something like that, and we're gonna have to smack it in the head to make it stop. So let's see, what else do I have to talk about? Senran Kagura is bad, specifically Peach Beach Splash. It kind of amazes me. We played that during the After Dark block during the marathon last week. And what amazes me is that it's like horribly bad, like in a really lazy way, in like every regard. Even though the general premise of the game is actually kind of brilliant. Favorite video game soundtracks? Ooh, that's a good question. Stick a pin in that for a sec. What amazes me is Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash has a really good premise. It's a team-based third-person shooter where all the characters are buxom, scantily clad women in bathing suits who are shooting at each other with squirt guns. what a great premise for a cheesecake game, right? That's a wonderful idea. Unfortunately, the game feels lazy in every single regard. I mean, the gameplay is meh. I mean, it's serviceable, but like every single aspect of the presentation is terrible. And not in an incompetent way. It's terrible in a we just didn't care because we know you're going to buy it anyway kind of way, maybe. Like, the writing is terrible, the acting is terrible, the story is terrible, like completely low effort, like the kind of storylines you make fun of pornos for. It's worse than that. You know, like at least the stereotypical, oh no, I don't have enough money to pay for this pizza that you just delivered, but maybe I can think of some other way I can pay. I mean, it's trite, it's obvious, it's low effort, but it's effective. It gets you where you need to go. This one is just stupid. The arc we were playing, the whole thing seemed to be based on someone read a note, and then they spend like 6 or 7 different missions arguing about whether they should deliver the note to the person who's noted it, and it's like, just give her the damn note. It's her. Just give her. Oh my god, all of you suck. The animation is terrible. The blocking is almost non-existent. All the characters are just kind of standing there, not even really looking at each other. They don't even seem to be in part of the space. The game seems to be unclear where it takes place, whether like on an island or on a cruise ship. There's a card collection system, but there only seems to be about 10 cards. So that's kind of pointless. Almost all the characters are wearing like exactly the same swimsuit. Now, to be fair, there's a dress-up mode. You can put them in different swimsuits, but it's like... This seems like a ripe opportunity. Imagine if Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, all of the volleyball players were wearing the exact same white bikini. Same cut, same color, everything. Like, except for one character who is wearing a one piece. It would be weird, right? You'd be like, okay, but why is everyone in the same swimsuit? Except, every single different squirt gun in this game has a different, unique reload animation. I mean, you think they're all gonna... Travis Touchdown in the No More Heroes, how he shakes the remote in a masturbatory manner to recharge it. Yeah, all the girls have the squirt guns in their oh yeah, masturbatory gesticulation. I get it. No, I mean, some of them have the pump handle, some of them have like this windy thing on the side, some of them have this other like accordion squishy thing. They all have a bespoke animation. It's like, that's where you put your effort? Also, look at this packaging. It comes in a box. What's in the box? What's in the box? Well, you get a bound art book, full color, lots of pages, lots of art. You get 2 CDs worth of soundtrack. Even the case, there's an instruction manual in here. It's full color. It's illustrated. Holy biscuits. Not only that, reversible cover. I mean, it's so weird that the game itself feels so low effort when I just don't know where these people's priorities are. Also, the people who make this game have never seen breasts in their entire lives and apparently refuse to Google them. It's like the character modelers are aliens who only ever had female anatomy described to them and kind of went from there. It's a bad game. it could have been good. It could have been good. You know? There's obviously a lot of love here. I mean, the soundtrack CD, full color art book, packaging, all this case. But then they got to the game and then they went, nah, making games is hard. No. Anyway. Cafe says, Sarah, do you have the DK Jams tape? Yeah, I have, let's see if I can find it. Nope. However, I'm still here. Wow. I have 4 piles of cassette tapes. There we go. And it's on the bottom of the 4th pile I checked. So, yeah, I have DK Jams, and I also have the second one on cassette. So, yep. Yes, I do. Back in there. So, favorite video game soundtracks. Let's see. I'm probably going to name a lot of recent stuff just because it's in my mind. The Trails games have really impressed me. Granted, I've only played the first one and part way through. We're still in chapter 2 of second chapter, I think. But I'm really enjoying the music and soundtrack to Trails in the Sky. Nier Automata had a wonderful soundtrack. The Donkey Kong Country games really do have a wonderful soundtrack. You know what? Speaking of the Rare era games, you know what might be one of my favorite soundtracks is the Conker's Bad Fur Day soundtrack, and not just because of the Great Mighty Pooh, although that is the standout. Just a fun, bouncy, wacky soundtrack to that damn thing. Let's see. Game soundtracks. Staring over at my game, seeing if anything jumps out at me. You know, I was really impressed with Mario Odyssey recently. That has a dynamite soundtrack. It's really good stuff in there. And Nintendo's actually been doing a hell of a lot of great musical work in the last couple of years. The Mario Kart, the stuff they're doing for Smash Ultimate is just wonderful. The latest Mario Kart 7 or 8, whichever one it is, it's got some excellent work in there. ARMS has an incredibly good soundtrack. It's like, wow, you just weren't expecting it. It's really good. So Nintendo's just been kind of knocking it out of the park for the last couple of years in game soundtracks. Let's see. Let's see. Cafe says, I have Senran Kagura Deep Crimson for 3DS, 3D brawler where you tear off your opponent's clothes the more damage you do. Same characters too, I think. Yeah, I should probably try one of the brawlers at some point because the ones I've featured a couple, 2, possibly 3 Senran Kagura games on the show, on the After Dark segment now, and they've all been terrible, but kind of bad in an interesting way. We played Reflections, we played Peach Beach Splash, so I've been playing all the spin-offs. I should probably try one of the main games to see if they get any good gameplay. Let's see, what else? I was thinking about the Senran Kagura pinball game. I haven't played it, but I like the concept. I think it's blatant cheesecake, totally fine. But if you're gonna do that, do something fun. And it's like, okay, half-naked women in animal costumes sitting on the pinball table. Okay. The problem I have with it, not played the game, but from the gameplay footage I've seen, is a lot of the because what you're doing is the characters are in like a cow costume or a kitty costume and they're meow, and so they're sitting in the middle of the pinball table while you're trying to play pinball, and you end up bouncing the pinball off of their soft bits, like you would expect. The problem I have with it is, from the footage I've seen, is the girls don't seem to like it. Like, bouncing a pinball off their boobs or butts is, like, painful, which I would imagine it is. It's probably not comfortable. They seem really humiliated and embarrassed and like they're not having fun. I'm like, oh, that just makes me uncomfortable. It should be something that it feels like they're there because it's fun. They want to be there. They're there to, swat the ball out of the way, and you have to make them somewhat of an antagonist. It would seem to be a better approach to me. Again, I'm judging by having watched some of the game footage. I've not played it myself. Just my impressions from what I've seen. So I'm not really sure how well that game will come off. Let's see. Music. Last Story had some really nice music. Xenoblade does too, but again, I prefer. Well, yeah, now, who has a better soundtrack? I'd have to probably listen to one right after the other to really compare them. I think I'm letting the fact that I like Last Story more than I like Xenoblade Chronicles influence my decision. They both have great music though. Pandora's Tower, the soundtrack isn't sticking in my head, so it's probably just fine. Then you get into old classic games, and I'd say Mega Man 2. That's probably my favorite Mega Man soundtrack. It's also again, probably influenced by the fact that Mega Man 2 is my favorite of that early series. I know people tend to be either Mega Man 2 or Mega Man 3 people. I'm a Mega Man 2 person. So, 8 o'clock. Well, 1 minute till. But, hey, we kept it to an hour this week. That's nice. So, that's it for tonight. I hope you will join me tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, for some Sunday stream fun. We'll start out picking up the Super Mario Maker 2 levels that I didn't get to during the marathon, and then we'll see if we can finish out Chapter 2 and Trails in the Sky. Good place for trails. In the sky. A little hard to follow, especially if you're a land-based person like myself, but yeah, you make do. You make do. All right, everyone, have an excellent evening, and again, hope to see you tomorrow for the Sunday stream, noon Pacific Standard Time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.